After plenty of one-day action in the classics, the Giro d'Italia kicks off the Grand Tour season. The 2017 edition will be the 100th, and the organisers have planned a special route to celebrate. It really is a tour of Italy, with the route travelling from Sardinia and heading through Sicily before travelling up the coast into the mountains of the north and back to Milan. With a selection of brutal climbs, rolling stages and time trials, the race has attracted a long list of general classification contenders. Here are Cycling News' 10 riders to watch for the Giro d'Italia. Defending champion Vincenzo Nibali will be looking for his third Giro d'Italia title to add to last year's and his first in 2013. He comes to the race having won the Tour of Croatia. The competition wasn't that strong, so how he fares against better climbers is still to be seen. The race's visit to his home of Sicily will add an extra element of importance for Nibali. This year's Giro d'Italia will be an emotional one for Nibali too, following the passing of his good friend Mikel, who was instrumental in his victory last year. Nairo Quintana will be the other former winner on the start line of the Giro d'Italia. The Colombian will also be Nibali's biggest challenger. The Giro will be the first in a major challenge for Quintana, as he aims to win the Italian Grand Tour and the Tour de France in the same season. He's already notched up wins at Valencia and Tirreno-Adriatico so far this year, and will use the Vuelta a Asturias as his final tune-up. Quintana will have to play the Giro d'Italia carefully if he doesn't want to run out of gas for the Tour de France in July. Thibaut Pinot is one of several general classification contenders who will make their debut at this year's Giro d'Italia. The Frenchman confirmed last winter that he'd focus only on stages at the Tour de France and, instead, put the majority of his efforts into the Corsa Rosa. For a French rider on a French team, it's a big move, but he seems to be revelling in it so far this season. He's in good form and has been on the podium at the Ruta del Sol, Tirreno-Adriatico and the Tour of the Alps so far. For the first time in his career, Geraint Thomas has the opportunity to lead a team at a Grand Tour. Originally a Classics contender, Thomas has shown plenty of potential at 3-week races, but he's yet to convert that into solid success. This season looks like his best shot yet, having learned from the mistakes of previous years. He's due to share the leadership with Mikel Landa. His recent win at the Tour of the Alps will give him a touch of leverage over his teammate, but only time will tell if he can keep it up. With Alberto Contador monopolising the Tour de France, Bauke Mollema turns to the Giro d'Italia for his chance at success. It will be his first appearance at the Giro since making his debut in 2010, where he finished 12th overall. His 2017 season got off to a great start, with victory at the Tour de San Juan, and top 10s at the Abu Dhabi Tour and Tirreno-Adriatico followed. He's now racing the Volta a Catalonia in March, which he failed to finish, opting for some altitude training in Tenerife this April instead. Adam Yates will be the sole leader for the Orica-Scott team after his brother Simon was procured for the Tour de France. This shouldn't bother Yates, who bore the burden of Orica's general classification ambitions at last year's Tour. Yates had already proved himself a strong rider, but the 2016 Tour took him up another level when he just missed out on the final podium. It's entirely possible that he'll be able to make that next step and jump onto the rostrum in Milan at the end of May. Stephen Kruijswijk returns to the Giro d'Italia, intent on putting the demons of last year well and truly behind him. Kruijswijk looked in command of the pink jersey when he crashed into a wall of snow on the descent of the Colle dell'Agnello. While the start to his season hasn't been sparkling, it's arguably better than it was last year, with 7th at the Volta a Catalonia compared to 39th in 2016. His form will have to be better if he has hope of improving, with much more competition this time out. Mikel Landa is another rider that will be hoping for a better Giro d'Italia in 2017. Landa was the sole hope for Team Sky last year, but it ended prematurely when he fell sick on the rest day. It hadn't gone particularly to plan prior to that either, and the Spaniard will want a much better start to the race. Of course, he'll have to share the leadership role with Geraint Thomas. Perhaps a shared pressure would be better for Landa, but he may find himself quickly in the domestique role if he doesn't pull his weight. After restricting himself to targeting time trials last year, Tom Dumoulin's back with the intention of having a crack at the general classification. Unlike several other riders on this list, Dumoulin will not ride the Tour de France at all, meaning that he can go all out for victory. Dumoulin's had some good results this season, such as 6th at Tirreno-Adriatico. He's unlikely to be able to hold on to the likes of Quintana and Nibali on the tougher parkour, but the 2 long time trials should keep him in with a shout. The Giro d'Italia has been a source of both joy and pain for Ilnur Zakarin. The Russian made his name at the 2015 race with victory on a wet day in Imola. Last year, it looked like he was stepping up from stage winner to Grand Tour contender and was on course for a top 5 finish until a horrific crash on the Colle dell'Agnello. A crash at the Volta a Catalunya this season disrupted what was shaping up to be a good performance, but he'd be hoping to get his Giro bid back on track at the Tour de Romandie.